In today's Daily Dose of Math, we're looking at favorable over total, which is a concept that's used when you calculate probabilities. It's a basic concept, but it's so useful in so many different questions that I think it's really important for students to think about. Let's look at a simple probability calculation to see how favorable over total works. With a dice, what are the chances of getting a 3? Favorable is getting a 3, and there are not 3 ways of doing that with a single dice, it's just 1. There's only one 3 on the dice, so the favorable is 1. How many different things are on the dice? Different numbers? 6. So favorable over total is just a way of saying the one favorable outcome over the 6 possible outcomes. And we can give our answer as 1 over 6, it's a correct answer, but we can also convert it into a decimal or a percent. If we divide, this gives us 0.1666, which continues, and then if we multiply that by 100, we get 16.7%. Also with the dice, get an odd number. Well, the total is still 6, but the favorable, there are 3 odd numbers on the dice, so the favorable is 3. 3 over 6, which is a little easier to divide, it gives us 0.5 in decimal, and when we multiply by 100, that tells us we have a 50% chance of getting an odd number when we roll a dice. With cards, getting a 7. There are 4 7s in the deck of cards, so the favorable is 4. The number of cards is 52, so we have 4 over 52. When we divide that, we get 0.0769 as the first 4 digits in our answer. And then when we multiply by 100, that tells us we have a 7.7% chance of getting a 7 when we pick randomly from a deck of cards. Now let's look at using favorable over total for a different type of question where we have more information to work with. So I've created a table here, which is about runners in track and field. And what we have here is 3 different distances, the 100 meter, 200 meter, 400 meter distances, and 3 different weight classes. So people who weigh less than 60 kilograms are here, between 60 and 80 kilograms are here, and greater than 80 are there. We have numbers for all of these in our data. In order to do favorable over total, it's going to be useful to know some totals. So I'm going to start adding them up. The total 100 meter runners is 30 plus 18 plus 2, there are 50 of them. 200 meter, there are 44, and 400 meter, there are 49. The total less than 60 kilogram runners is 55. The total between 60 and 80 is 69. And the total greater than 80 is 19. Now interestingly, when we find this total, which is the total of all the runners in the table, what we get is 143 if we add these numbers, but we also get 143 if we add these numbers. And when you think of it, that makes sense, because our total is 143 runners, whether we're thinking of what distance they run or what amount they weigh. So now we have everything we need, so we can start answering questions like this. The percentage of 400 meter runners who are greater than 80 kilograms. So what is my total? My total isn't all the runners, it's not the 143, no, it's just the 400 meter runners. And the total number of 400 meter runners is the 49. And my favorable is how many of those are greater than 80 kilograms, and there are 13. It works the same way as these simpler calculations. We're dividing, and 13 divided by 49 gives me 0.2653 as my first 4 decimal places. And then when I multiply that by 100, it gives me 26.5%. So in this group of runners, 26.5% of the 400 meter runners weigh more than 80 kilograms. You have to be careful about what to use as your total depending on how the question is asked. This next question What percentage of runners are less than 60 kilograms? Well, this time it's not 400-meter runners. It's not that specific. It's just runners. So my total is going to be the 143, all the runners. And the ones who are less than 60, well, of all the runners, I have to add up some numbers. All of these three groups are less than 60. So the 55 is my favorable. 55 divided by 143 gives me 0.3846 as my first four decimals. Multiplying by 100, therefore, I'm figuring out that about 38.5% of the runners in the table weigh less than 60 kilograms. This has been favorable over total. That is today's daily dose of math. Don't forget to like this video, and if you're not subscribed yet, click on the subscribe button.